Hey YouTube.
Welcome into an episode of new and old Funko Pop unboxings that we felt that we had to make. Miguel, the best part about this hobby and collecting and all that is the community, right?
Yes.
The people that we know, the Pop the Chaos group, for example, Slapshot Pops, Pop and Duo, Beard of Pop, Jack and the Pops. The list goes on and on and on. You know, Grown Kids TV. I don't want to leave anybody out, but it just goes on and on and on of great people.
Pop Mix.
Pop Mix, thank you. Yep, Collector Charlie.
Pop Savage.
Again, yeah, that's right. These are great people. The list keeps going, and it's filled with great people who make it so much more fun than it already is.
Yeah.
The worst part about this hobby, unfortunately, is also the people. And you just never know. And that's what this video is about today. How do I say this? About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I launched the kind of series on our channel called the Late Night Pop Show.
Yes.
For those who don't know, maybe you're new to our channel, I've been in radio here in Nashville for 15 years. And I interviewed athletes on a regular basis and that kind of thing. So I wanted to bring some of that expertise, I'm not saying it's good, but expertise to this channel. Because I was like, well, hey, look, this is a strength of mine. Let's see if we can, interview some people around the hobby and kind of get to know some people more than just, hey, there's a mystery box to open. Like, it's actually get to know the personalities and their likes and dislikes, things like that. And that show did not do well. To be very honest, it's one of our least watched series ever.
It's true.
Probably
because of the pun.
The what?
Never mind.
Okay. It didn't do well, and that's fine, totally fine. It was just an experiment trying to bring something else to the channel. But the point of saying all that is that there's an episode that we did not release, and it's an interview with JemPops. And JemPops is around the virtual water cooler right now because he did a $300 mystery box, 40 boxes, made $12,000 or so, give or take, and ghosted everybody. He has not been heard from, since before July 4th. I think his Instagram is deleted. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So he apparently took $12,000 of people's money and vanished. I don't want to believe it. JemPops was always nice to us. To the point where we had a big mystery box run right before the Super Bowl, right for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he messaged me on numerous occasions and said, "How many boxes do you have left?" And I'd be like, 7 or whatever. And he'd be like, "I'll take 2." And so he'd buy 2, and those were his 2. And then a couple days later, he'd be like, "How many mystery boxes do you have? How close are you to sell out?" And I'd be like, "We have 1 left." He's like, "I'll take it." Very supportive. There was even a point where this last mystery box, the $240 box, the big box we did, there was a guy who reached out and didn't have an Instagram avatar. It kind of looked real shady, But he said, "Hey, I'm legit. I want to buy one, but JemPops is I've dealt with him several times. Go to him and make sure that I'm legit." And I messaged JemPops, and within 10 minutes, he was like, "Yep, his name is such and such, and he buys from me all the time." I'm like, "Okay." And I sold him a box. And that was like 3-4 weeks ago. And now JemPops is nowhere to be found. My point of saying all this is that I wanted to present this interview that we had with JemPops. I wanted to present it to everybody because maybe there's information or clues in there to how he's doing or to what his motivation was, or maybe they'll fill in some gaps somewhere. It would be wrong for us to have a 20-minute interview with him when he's nowhere to be found. You okay there?
Yeah.
Okay. It would be wrong for us to have a 20-minute interview with him, one-on-one, and not release it right now, at this point, because we want people to have all the information they can so they feel better about life. Because many people spent $300, $600, $900, $1,200 on these boxes and got nothing. So, JemPops, wherever you are, I, in a very weird, twisted way, hope it's for a medical reason. I hope you're okay. But I hope that this is all a huge misunderstanding because it doesn't make sense to us. You've been right there for us this whole time, offered to buy multiple boxes, like we said. You were there I was able to pick your brain on certain things back in the day, and you've been a big supporter of ours, and we've gone back and forth. I never would have saw this coming. So much so, Miguel, this is the last story I'll tell. So much story. Miguel, remember when we got a box from him? I think it was a $200 box. and the value came in at $190.
Yeah.
And that was what he marked on the thing. It wasn't like it was, oh, okay, prices fluctuate, whatever. It was actually on the prices that he marked on the post-it notes on the pops. It was $190. It's $10 short of the guaranteed value. He offered within minutes of that video going up to send us another pop to make up for it. I was like, dude, it's $10. Calm down. We're good. We're good. You know, like, I appreciate that, but we're good. Why would someone who was planning on ghosting people do that? Right? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't compute. Anyway, long story short, please use this interview with JemPops from March of 2021 to find clues. We wish you nothing but the best. JemPops, I hope you're okay, like I said, and hope you rectify the situation somehow. And if you bought a mystery box from JemPops on this run and are just out money, I'm so sorry. Here you go. You can find him at JemPops on Instagram, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself right off the top. Man, how are you doing? And just kind of tell everybody where they can find you and all that stuff.
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Okay.
You know, you can find us on YouTube or Instagram. You know, we do put out some videos. Haven't lately. You know, the whole mystery box is kind of it's very tiring. You should know that. You know, but yeah, we're just into collecting open mystery boxes.
How did collecting start for you? I mean, obviously I see a big collection behind you. You see a big one behind me, but how did it start? What was the genesis of your collecting?
It was honestly, I was in a 7-Eleven getting a drink, and there was a Baby Yoda pop on the counter for sale. And that was July 3rd last year. So since then it's taken off. I kind of got addicted as soon as I saw that first one. In the first couple of weeks, I was buying lots upon lots.
So you're relatively new to this then. I mean, around a year or so in.
Yeah.
But you got quite the collection behind you. You seem to have a themed collection of sorts. You've got some Alien remixes back there, that kind of thing. Obviously, The Mandalorian. So that was your entryway. Were you like so many of us where you just, when you first got in, you started buying everything that you liked?
Yes. Yeah, I just started buying everything. I'm like, well, at first I was strictly sticking to Star Wars, but I was just buying like, oh, I need these couple pieces. Why don't I just buy the whole lot? Like, and that's how it kind of, then you start getting pieces. You're like, oh, I'll buy more and I can add it to these different, collections. And then it just took over.
Have you trimmed down your collecting at all? And what I mean by that is I've really had to, for sake of my wallet, I've really had to refocus what I buy, right? Like I want to have that investment piece for the next mystery box or whatever, which we'll get to in a minute. But I also really have to be careful that, like, okay, if I get this, I'm a completionist too, so that doesn't help. Yeah. But if I get this pop right here that I really like, this underdog pop, for a great example. If I get this underdog pop, am I going to have to get all of the animation line or all the Hanna-Barbera line or all? I'm not saying that's maybe a bad example, but I have to consider that before I do this because of how I know I collect. Have you refocused at all?
I have refocused a lot, actually, thinning down more so and strictly sticking to the certain collections that I want to collect. Now I have a lot of pops, but we're trying to make it in a fun way to where we can disperse them in try to recoup some money back.
Is that the genesis of the mystery box for you? Is just to try to thin out the collection, or how did that kind of start?
Well, before YouTube, I did mystery boxes on eBay, but
okay.
I had a 100 box run, and the first 18 somebody pulled all the grails. So I had 4 grails.
Lovely.
Yeah, they were. And now I wish I had those grails back because they were all Captain Rexes. I had 4 of them, and I was like, wow. Why do I need so many? So, and then people were posting on eBay, oh, I pulled the Captain Rex. So then I just shut it off. Then I decided, okay, well, while I'm doing all these mystery box openings without doing YouTube or anything, because I'm new to YouTube, I was like, why don't I just film one? And then it just kind of became, like a giving back sort of, because I live in a nice area, but a lot of people don't get unemployment. I live in Florida, so it's really hard. A lot of people are getting way more money than what people down here get. So they have to recoup some of their money somehow. So I was just buying a lot and a lot.
So when did you decide you wanted to have a Mystery Box channel or a YouTube channel with your kid?
We discussed it in like September, but we didn't start until almost the last week of October, right before Halloween. We had something that we were doing that was cool for the kids in our area for Halloween. So we wanted to kind of portray the type of people we were. So a lot of people didn't watch that video, but it was actually a mystery box for what we did for trick-or-treaters. They would come up, they were all wrapped up, they pick a little pocket pop, and then somebody ended up with a full-size pop, whoever won. So it was fun. It was, something different. And we were just like, let's just, record our videos of opening boxes.
That's really cool that you incorporated Halloween into that. That's a neat idea that now I'm thinking about. When you first decide, I'm going somewhere with this. When you first decide that you want to have a mystery box channel or a YouTube channel, I'll leave it broad, a YouTube channel with your kid, are you like me where you're either going to go all into this thing or you're not going to do it at all? And if that's the case, how did you kind of navigate those waters early?
Yeah, it was pretty much let's go in. He your son, they say some of the craziest stuff sometimes, and
that's true. That's true.
But in the beginning, he was very embarrassed to kind of do stuff because he was worried about how people portrayed him. And, we had this sit down talk of, it's not what people think. You just got to be yourself, because the kid is hilarious. Like all day, every day will only sleep 5 hours, and he is from go, 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 go. So, but we had to hone down on some of the stuff. Like we buy a lot of mystery boxes, but we've never hit a grail. I've never hit a pop over $40. So in one of the videos, he was just like, oh, just like these other crappy mystery boxes. So like, whoa, we got to kind of, so, you don't know what to expect sometimes. So, we went in full speed.
So we both have channels with our kids, like I mentioned. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the good and the challenging parts about that, right? Obviously, you just mentioned one of the good parts is that you just never know what it's just so funny because you never know what they're going to say. But things people might not realize, like what are some challenges that you face, and then for equal time, I'll give you some challenges that I face. What are some challenges that you face in? I mean, it could be as minute as scheduling one, right? A shoot. I mean, what do you go through?
It's trying to find a time for both of us to where he's not too like crazy, and I like to incorporate one of the girls. The other one will come in, but I don't want to be a channel where she just turned 18, and I just don't want to be that type of channel where I'm gonna get pissed off at YouTube at this point. I want it to be fun, energetic, do crazy things. But some of the challenges are you don't know what they're gonna say. And it's like, dude, go brush your teeth or something. Like, come on. Go do your hair. Like he walks around, he don't care. Like he's just one of those kids. He's a boy. And Jassy's the easiest. Like, hey, let's go make a video. She'll just sit down. Okay. But she's more shy and he's more. And then you got to watch out. Like if it's something he doesn't like, he's just, that's, you're not going to get everything you like. It's part of the challenge with it. But he's pretty open about that. So got to hone him back.
Yeah, for McGillney, he's 8. So I don't know how old your son is, but McGillney is 8, and he loves being on stage or performing of some kind, right? That's why he's really into dance, and well, it's not why. It's one of the factors. But the scheduling thing is the biggest thing for us, is where he has dance 4 nights a week. So he goes to school, obviously, all day, and then he goes to dance on Monday. I think it's Thursday, Friday. No, sorry. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, and then if there's a convention coming up or a comp, it's usually Saturday as well. So he's there a lot, and he loves it, and he eats, sleeps, and breathes it. I mean, he's very extremely talented, God-given gifts for sure that we tried to cultivate early, and he's really into it. But as you can see, there's only limited time on the calendar that I can pinpoint him and say, all right, so we're gonna set up the table like behind me, and we're gonna record an episode, and we can do that. But and he has ADHD, by the way, so if he's having a, not an off day, but if he's not focused, right?
Yeah.
Even in the least, it becomes a massive challenge, because as you know, you only get one shot at these. You're unboxing something that's sealed. So if you unbox it and it's just a free for all Wild West style with your kid, you almost have to throw it out. And then what if you pull this grail? It's just, there's a lot to it. So that's the most challenging for me, is making sure that I pick the days that he's focused, but also lining up the fact that he only is free basically 2 or 3 nights a week, right? And so, and then not to mention my job and my wife's job, and so there's all kinds of things there. So I would just say scheduling and his how he handles himself, which is usually pretty good. We've been very, very lucky. 90% of the time he is on point, and he's great, and he delivers something funny. He is the personality of the show, I believe. I don't think that's bias. I think if I was just doing it by myself, it would just be just another older white guy unboxing video. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not a big deal.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah, but for him, it's just, okay, he's the hook of the show. And I did a hockey episode recently, all hockey, because it's all hockey pops that I collected. So what I did, I want to collect them all. So what I did was, there's 70 for those who don't know. So what I did was, I started since November. I started buying 1 or 2 pops from wherever, and I realized about 5 boxes in, I was like, I'm going to do these all in one episode. Well, by the time I get done with it, I think it was like 22 boxes to open, right? So I do this massive hockey episode, but I chose to do it when he wasn't here, because he's not interested in that, right? No. So I just did the episode by myself, but that was a real reach. I had to really get there, because I was like, this channel is ours. Like, we're partners. So to say I'm going to handle this one by myself, and for him to be like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And, it took a lot, like a mental hurdle to get over, that I had to make sure that I was going to do this by myself, and that he was cool with that,
Well, yeah, and that's like, if for me, like if I was to do one without him, like I have nobody to bounce off of.
Right.
Like, I understand we're staring at a camera and trying to hit everybody, but sometimes they don't realize how hard that is to keep content going. You kind of bounce off each other, as it goes through the video. So then you have more content, as to where, here's my box, and, I don't like it. You might not like it. What do we do? So.
Now, we both sell mystery boxes from time to time. And over on JKL, his birthday live that we did, we got to talking about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I liken it to an art form. I mean, do you agree at all with that?
Yes.
What goes into that? What goes into your process?
Oh, I do it by myself. People are like, oh, does the kids help or whatever?
Oh, yeah, no.
No, the only thing that they do is number. They just number once they're all sealed up and everything. And that's what it is. I put so much time and detail, like, and I feel bad. Like, it gives me anxiety when people open something they don't, it's not for the collection.
Yes.
And it's like, I get that, but I try to at least give some type of value or something, that, you could trade or, resell, but the amount of work you're talking, this, it's just constant scanning, double checking, make sure it's wrapped properly, make sure you have the right size box, make sure that, it goes into, and especially like I ran one run that I used a box that was way too big, but I had to make sure that they were all equal, so nobody's like, oh, I know the big one's in there,
right?
And then you start, people don't realize the box cost, the wrapping cost, the time, it all adds up over time. So, and that's the most challenging for me. Like, I can get them wrapped and everything, but I like the kids to number them. I like to be surprised as somebody that builds them. I want to see people's expressions. You might not like it. I get that, but I haven't really got a mystery box that I've really enjoyed. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of stuff, but I enjoy the rush of opening something.
Agreed. I think it takes me back. I don't know if you did this or not, but as a kid, when I would collect baseball cards and hockey cards and football cards and all that, like it was going to, well, in California it was Rayleigh's, right? But now it's whatever it is. But excuse me. And now there's a lot more hobby shops, right? But at the time there was like two, or in your area, and so when you got to go to a hobby shop and you bought it and you paid $1 for an upper deck pack, whatever, it was like, oh, this is a big thing. And it was this, there was this. I think you used the perfect word. There's a rush to what am I going to get in here?
Correct.
Like I may get a bunch of, Ozzie Smiths and Jose Canseco's and like cards that, like players that I like, but that I don't necessarily collect, right? But then you pull that Ken Griffey Jr. rookie and you're just on top of the world. You just never know, right?
Correct.
So I think there's a lot of that in the mystery boxes, even in those $25 boxes from like Poptopia or wherever else. The smaller boxes that maybe don't get a lot of hits on YouTube because they're not people. I know I watch Grown Kids TV. Well, I shouldn't say I do because they're awesome people. But I'm saying at the beginning, right when I first discovered them, the first video I watched of theirs because they opened a $1,000 mystery box, and I was like, "What is in a $1,000 mystery box, and why are you spending $1,000 on?" And then they open it, and you're just like, "Wow, that's so awesome!" And then then you subscribe to their channel and blah 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 blah. So what I'm saying is, even the smaller price boxes that may not get a massive hit on YouTube, they're still fun for us because we could pull anything. I don't want to pull 2 pops on a 2 pop box that I can find at Target right now. Like I don't want to do that, but I do want to find an anime pop for him on accident and a sports pop for me. That's best case scenario, right? If they're going to be common, those are the 2 things we collect. So let's bring it back to your collection here. So what do you collect? What are your lines? What are you trying to complete, if anything? Like what are your favorite things to collect?
Star Wars. That's my biggest line. And we're roughly about 800 of those at the current moment. So that'll never get completed.
No, it's impossible.
It is what it is. Jurassic Park, Toy Story, but I have that almost locked in right now with
that's impressive.
Toy Story, Big Bang Theory is one I'm working on now, but some of those old school, pretty expensive, and that's what I did with the mystery box. It's just to help grow the channel. When I did my last run, it's just change things up, and of course Freddy's. And I used to hate Freddy's when I first started collecting. I had a bunch, and I just got rid of them. And now I'm like, oh, I want to go back to doing that. So.
Let me ask you about the sodas, though, because I noticed there's some sodas obviously at the top of your backdrop there and then on your table. So we are just now, Miguel and I are just now getting into the soda game in the sense that I think we're going to start doing, and this is premature for those who are watching, and maybe we've already dropped one of these. So the working title in my head is 2 Soda Saturday. So on Saturdays, about once a month or so, we're going to open 2 sodas and hope to get a chase. It's just that simple. Just quick and dirty, but it's just different, right? So how did you get into the soda game? And I ask that because, we have been very exclusively pops. I don't want 10-inch pops except for the ones you see behind me, because I realized they were statues and they're really cool looking out of the box, right? Yeah. So other than 10-inch pops and then regular pops, I don't want to collect pop rides. I don't want to collect pop towns. I don't have room for all that. But sodas are interesting to me, and I don't know why. So how did you get into the soda game?
Well, I wasn't into them as much because I couldn't find them, and part of me is the hunt for things.
Yes.
I don't ever really pre-order anything. I want to hunt it down. I want to wait outside a store. Like that's me personally. The sodas I was watching Pop and Duo, one of my favorite channels. And they opened a lot of sodas, and I'm like, this is actually pretty cool. It's a lot smaller when you have this many pops, just like, you have your shelves completely just full. There's no room to keep these things. And if they get anyone damaged, I ran a damaged mystery run because when I moved, I had about 150 of them got damaged. So.
Oh man, that's rough.
Oh, it's when you're talking some are $50 pops and you start.
Right. I can only imagine.
Start shaking like And um, I had somebody reach out to me knowing I was looking for sodas and, gave me a hell of a deal. I made a video, but it was one of those videos where it got messed up with the kid and I could never post it. And, I got to thank Flipcake because he did, he helped me out tremendously getting my sodas. And I think roughly right now we're about 60 some right now, but a good 40 of them were from him. So, but I'm not a chase collector whatsoever. Every run I do with mystery boxes, I'm always putting the chases in there when I get them because I'm just not that way. I like the commons, and that's, people are like, why? And I'm just like, I want the original. I don't want a variant. I want the original. I get the variants rare, but, if I can pull one and somebody needs a chase, I have no problem just sending it to them. Like, that is just me personally. I only got $15 expended into it. So what's the difference of me shipping $15 out?
But there's got to be a balance, though, right, between a chaseable pop for your mystery box. I applaud you, by the way. I'm not taking anything away from what you just said. I applaud you big time for that. I do a lot of that here in our local Nashville Funko group on Facebook. There's a big community that helps each other out and all that. But I do. I walk the line, right? Is between, okay, somebody wants this pop I just pulled. The Randy Savage Diamond is a great example, right? It's not a chase, but it's a, somebody really wanted that after we pulled it. And we don't collect wrestling pops, right? So I have no problem being like, yeah, we'll meet up at my hockey game at 6:00 on Sunday and it's $15 because that's what it would be in the store or whatever, Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, man, but that would be, if it's $35 PPG, that's a chaseable pop all of a sudden in a mystery box run that we might do.
Correct.
So I do try to navigate that as best I possibly can. I've been burned by that, and I've also hit a home run doing that. So it's a fine line, I think.
Yeah, and now that I am doing more mystery style, I am saving those. It's just, more people want the chases than me personally. But in one of the runs, I put 3 chase sodas in one box. Have at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's gonna be a good unboxing right there.
Yeah, I didn't even, and that's hard too because you want to watch people open stuff and a lot of Instagrammers buy it and they tag you, but it's like, oh, I wish I could have felt their emotion. You know what I mean? Even if it's a bad emotion, you still want to kind of feel it. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of us too. We'll close on this. There's a lot of us that are trying to do the right thing. Like, we're not a big company. We're just a YouTube channel that's trying to supplement the YouTube channel with mystery box money, and so, we're not made of money by any means. And so, but if I'm going to sustain this channel going forward, then we've got to have, other than Patreon support, of course, which we're very appreciative of, we have to be able to supplement some other way. And so we do that by selling mystery boxes, I don't know, a couple times every 3 months or so. And that money all goes back into the channel. So it's interesting, right? I mean, do you find that was maybe not the motivation to do mystery boxes, but the fact, like, now, like, it's like, okay, if we're going to keep this going, we got to be able to sell these things?
Correct. That is the motivation. If I want to keep my channel alive, I need to sell mystery boxes. I buy too much. The wife hates it. And
same.
Yeah. So she loves pops, but it's one thing, like, where you got to kind of make it to where you balance yourself out. Right. It's not like I'm pulling a $6,000 pop from a mystery box, and me personally, it was just watching, other people just get bad boxes after bad boxes, and nothing against whatnot, but I think it just killed some of the game. And so I just decided, just keep giving back and giving back. What's it hurt me that I spent $1,000 on a lot and I could put it in a mystery box and make, $1,200? I'm still making a very slim profit, but that money's already been spent. So why not put it back into the channel? So
That's right. There's a real investment thing there. But just to go back real quick on the bad mystery boxes, like, I never want somebody to open a box of mine. Now, I can't control if they have pops or not. It's the whole point of a mystery box. You can't control, like, oh, okay, well, they collect all the pops from it. And if I put an It Pop in there with a Sports Pop and they don't collect Sports Pops, like, well, I already have this and I don't collect, I can't do anything about that. But within reason, I don't want anybody to open it up and be like, well, I could have found these 3 pops at GameStop yesterday. Like, I don't want to do that ever. I want it to be some sort of intrigue or coolness factor about the box as best I possibly can. Again, not being a company that has this massive inventory of pops that I can just pick from. We really try, it's a science to us. We really try to say, okay, these are the 5 pops that we consider chaseable in this run of 40 or whatever. And then how are we going to pair these with these? And then how are we going to make up for the other 35 boxes? How are we going to make those interesting? And there's times where I pull from my own collection when I don't want to, because I'm like, I have to put this in, or otherwise I would hate getting this box if I didn't have this in here, and I'm not going to go buy a pop off the shelf and then put it in the box. That defeats the whole purpose. Correct. So it's really an art form. I would assume that you feel that as well.
Yeah, there's of course fillers. Of course I've gone to Walmart and bought in like 10 pops, but that wasn't like I bought them for the mystery box. I bought them for myself, hoping that maybe they'll increase in value. Then of course, and I've put some anime. I've run boxes with no anime. I put some anime in boxes, but people gotta realize you have to balance that out. If I'm putting a $65 pop in a box, I got to kind of put a $5-10 pop in a box. Oh, for sure. Just to kind of balance. And it's not even that, it's with the shipping. Like, you're trying to keep these things preserved. If I just put that 1 pop in a box when I said there's minimum 2 pops in it, I'm giving you your value just on 1 pop. I get the extra as just an extra. So, that's where it kind of becomes a game. I know nobody likes Dragon Ball Z, but when your son has 2 of every single pop of that, and then you have your own just stockpile, of course I'm going to dump it, but I try to only keep it on this last run. I kept it to 10 boxes, had 1 Dragon Ball Z pop in each. So that's, I would take that as a chance. I get Dragon Ball Z all the time. So do you probably,
Yeah, we get anime all the time. But luckily, McGill collects all the anime pops, so it's easy. It just automatically goes to him. We don't have to draft or anything. It's just, these are yours. So, hey, look, JemPops, I really, really, really appreciate your time today, man. I know we've gone over a little bit, but it's just been such a great conversation. Yes. Check him out, obviously, on Instagram at JemPops. That's JemPops, all one word, and, of course, on YouTube as well. Hey, man, us family channels, we got to stick together, so I really, really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you.